Okay, class, for this experiment, I had asked you to go home for the weekend and perform the laboratory experiment that we were going to do in class and then we're going to talk about on Monday. But I thought that it wouldn't be fair that you have to do something and the teacher doesn't. So I decided that I was going to do my own demonstration, and then this will be the one that we will look at and compare, along with comparing all of the rest of ours. Now, why I did this at home is because I want you to know that, not everything that we do in science is explainable, and not everything is going to work like it should. Now, see, I decided to do it at home. I have birds. I have the phone may ring. Things might happen, but I don't want you to start over because it's all about experimenting. And this lab is really about source and error, and there's always going to be some sort of error that we're going to have to calculate, and we're going to have to figure out, not everything is going to be exact. So when people replicate or duplicate something that's yours maybe in the future if you're a scientist, these things are going to happen. So I'm going to apologize for my birds for now. And if the phone rings, don't worry. If this happens to you, I don't want you to start over, because it's all about learning that science is experimentation. So for this lab, what we're going to do is we're going to try and see which ice cream container or cup will hold the coolness better than if we're in, say we're at a baseball game, or, just sometimes you just want ice cream that's cold. So what we're going to use, what I have is a temperature probe. If you don't have that at home, you can use a thermometer, but this is why it's always good to get this, because it'll really make the experiment run much more smoothly. Now, I gave you the materials. I left some things out, I added some things, so hopefully you were able to determine with your group which ones you needed and which ones you didn't need. Because I really didn't, I tried to, see what you would do with it. Now, right now, I have 3 different cups, but they're in the freezer right now because, like I said, we can't have all 3 out at the same time, because then our readings will be wrong, because it'll give the other 2 ice creams in the container more time to melt. So what I'm going to do is, right now I have 3 containers. I have they're in cups. I have a plastic cup, I have a styrofoam cup, and plastic, styrofoam, and paper. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take one at a time, take a reading, take about a minute, I'm going to have the reading, and then we'll do the next one, and then the next one. So I'm going to go back and forth. Now, what you would have needed, well, actually, let me go get the first one. Okay, so right now I have a paper cup, and I have ice cream in here. So what I want to do real fast, since I took it out, is I'm going to take the reading. And as I'm taking the reading, we'll continue to talk. Okay. And in the end, I'll show you everything. Okay, so I'm just going to do this now. Alright, so it's going to take a reading for about a minute. Now, I have a minute here because it's going in consecutive order. If I didn't, you would need a timer. Now, I also have the equal amounts of ice cream in here. Now, that's very important because equal amounts will affect how ice cream melts. So that's something else that I didn't put a measuring. I didn't put any kind of measuring cup measuring. Hopefully you did, and if you didn't, then that'll be when we all look together, we'll figure out why was it different. And this is what it's about. It's about learning what works, what doesn't work, what's different, and hopefully from this experiment you'll know that not everything is going to be as simple and as simplistic as, things, as people make it to be. Okay, so I think that that's good for this one. So I'm just going to stop it. I'm just going to take it out. I just need to wipe it off for a second. Okay, so now I'm just going to put this one to the side and get the other one. Okay, this is my plastic cup. Okay, so I'm just going to take the reading of the plastic cup. Look what I'm doing. Okay. Now, hopefully, what I was talking about was the sources of error. So some sources of error would have been if you didn't use a measuring, any kind of measuring cup or a teaspoon, tablespoon of ice cream, and that you really just either plopped it or piled it high or piled it low. You know, if you put too much or too little, it will affect the results. Also, timing, and also if you kept all three out at the same time. See, if you kept all three out at the same time, what would happen is you would have, take the reading here, but what about the other two? You're giving them time to sit, and you're not it's not going to be an accurate reading. So, and now how would you think your results would differ? Do you think maybe on the graph? The graph would be different, but how do you think it would be different? So I want you to think about that, because you might think, oh, maybe that's my source of error, why my graph will look different than somebody else's, or something to think about. Okay. All right. Okay. Now why also I like this is because when we're going to put it in a spreadsheet, I'm going to show you here, you should all know how to do this. So I'll just put on my demonstration how I did it. Because it might look a little different. Actually, yours might look better. And then we can put all of it together in the end and see how it all looks when we all do it. Okay, so I'm going to stop this. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go get the other one. Okay, so this is my styrofoam cup. Now, this is a bit bigger than the ones that I had because I couldn't find a styrofoam cup that was the size of the other ones. So this might affect my results, because also the size of the cup could make a difference. It could, but I'm not going to tell you how. I want you to think about it. But different sizes will make a difference. But this is not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. It's made to show source of error. It's made to make you think about, how would you come up with a procedure? And this is how you have to experiment. We're all going to have different demonstrations. We're all going to have different ways of doing something. And it's good to see another person's point of view, because you're never going to know. Sometimes you might not have thought of something. You said, oh, that might look good. Well, I should have did that. So for the next time, when I ask you to do this next demonstration, or when I ask you to make a presentation, or I ask you to go home and do a project, you might think about things that were done in the past. Okay? So it's always good to have an opinion. It's always good to listen to what others think and what others say, because sometimes you might not have thought of it and you could really use it. Okay. All right. So we're done with this. Now, not time, but spreadsheet will show us which one. Okay, let me just put this to the side. Okay. Now, I'm going to put this in a spreadsheet. Well, it's pretty much already in a spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do is just transfer all the data into my own spreadsheet that I have already made. If at this point you didn't, you could always stop it and then go back to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my camera, since I don't have anybody helping me, and I'm going to show you this. Okay, so I'm just going to come over here. Okay, and then this is my graph. So you're going to see I have here all the data. I have it as, plastic cup, paper cup, styrofoam cup, and I color coordinated it. And I used color codes. Let me just to show you. See? And you can see I labeled everything so that now you can use different bar graphs. You can use anything that you want. And this is why spreadsheets are good, because you're able to see stuff in different areas and see how things work. So I hope yours is as good as mine. We'll see you in class.